Now before we get into the video, I do want to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsors, and once again that is jerseyfifa.com. They really do help keep the content on this channel going, and they even sent me a free shirt which you can see on screen here. And as you can see, I got the new Manchester United home kit, and genuinely the kit really is top quality. I highly recommend their products. So make sure to get in a link in the description down below, and now if you use code jerseyfifa at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. You get a great football shirt and you help support the channel, which I really do appreciate massively. So last season all of the talk was about Liverpool's ability to win the quadruple. However, they just fell short at the last couple of hurdles in the Premier League and in the Champions League. So are we going to see them change approach this season? Well, to find out, let's go through the starting 11, starting in goal, where Alisson will continue as number 1. And with Liverpool using such a high defensive line, his proactive goalkeeping is going to be absolutely vital. At left back, again I think it's pretty obvious who is going to be playing. Unless there is a major injury issue, Andrew Robertson will once again play at left back, and I'm sure his attacking output will be pivotal like we've seen before. Another player that will obviously be pivotal is Virgil van Dijk. Now Van Dijk may not quite be at the level that he was 3 seasons ago, however he still without doubt is by far Liverpool's best defender, and they need him fit this year. At right centre back we have our first personnel debate, but personally I think for now we will see Joel Matip as the choice, although as the season progresses it is very possible that Konate will come in and take his place. A player whose place in the team is in no doubt at all is Alexander-Arnold at right back. By now we all know that he is one of the best attacking fullbacks of all time, and there is absolutely no chance that anyone starts ahead of him. The same continues into the midfield, where I don't think Fabinho will have too many challenges for his holding midfielder role. Now last season his performances weren't up to par, however for me he's still one of the best in Europe. To his left is another one of the best midfielders in the world, and that is of course Thiago, and if he is able to stay fit for the full season, then he could be the difference maker in any hopes of a title push towards the end of the year. Right centre mid is another one of those positions where I think there is some competition. However, during the early stages of the season, I think Klopp will stick to what worked last year, with Jordan Henderson having quite an impressive season. Now, as I said, that isn't necessarily a guarantee because he will face some competition from Naby Keita, who naturally seems to bring better dribbling ability and all-round technical ability than what Henderson brings to a team. Another player that will argue that they can do the same is Harvey Elliott. And if it was me, this is who I would have as the starting right central midfielder. I just think that he brings something else in terms of attacking contributions to the side. Now as we move into the attack, we get to the positions that for me feel like guaranteed starters. And on the left wing, Luis Diaz will be a key attacker this season. He settled into the league brilliantly and is now really ready to kick on. On the right hand side is probably the most obvious starter of all. Unless there is some sort of calamitous loss of form, Salah is going to be Liverpool's main attacking threat, and probably the highest goal scorer as he nearly always is. Now there is actually a player that will be hoping to challenge him for that top scorer title, and that is Liverpool's one major summer signing, Darwin Núñez. If it goes well, he really can win you titles with his goal scoring ability. So that is the starting 11 done, and as we can see that will leave Liverpool in a 4-3-3 once again. There have been talks of a potential change to a 4-2-3-1, but personally I don't really think that will be happening. Now whilst that is the starting 11 that I have come up with, I do certainly think that Klopp has other options as well, with players like Konate, Keita, Elliott, Jota and Firmino, all players that will provide competition. Now whilst there is the option to switch players in and out of the team, I think the main shape will remain the same, with Thiago often dropping in alongside Fabinho to form a 2-4 shape in order to build possession. Now if this is the case and Liverpool continue to use this shape, then the centre backs will also play a big role on the ball, and that really benefits Joel Matip in particular, who we know loves to carry the ball forward through the thirds. With the centre back stepping forward to play alongside the two deeper midfielders, it will mean that Henderson at right centre mid is given more attacking freedom to get forward, and again that is something that we saw a lot last season. This then brings us to the front line, where I think we could see a slight change in dynamic, with players like Diaz and Darwin Núñez having very different play styles to players like Jota, Firmino or even Sadio Mane. So if we start with Luis Diaz on the left, I think we now have a greater idea of how he likes to play. He seems like a player that really loves to have the ball at his feet, regularly looking to take players on with his quick feet and dribbling ability. Now this could work quite nicely if Diaz is able to drift inside, because that will leave room out on the left wing, an area that we know Darwin Núñez loves to drift into, so I can see the two of them playing quite close to each other. Now, if this is the case with both players drifting to the left slightly, then that will of course leave room in the middle. And that's where I think Salah's role is going to change, and we'll see him in some of these more central areas this season. Now, for me, that is the main reason that I would like to see Elliott in the midfield. I think if he started in that right centre mid role, then he could have this attacking freedom to occasionally pull slightly wider onto the right wing that Salah has vacated. However, I think Klopp has something slightly different in mind, and I think we're going to see the return of the overlapping Alexander-Arnold. Last season he was often playing quite narrow, but I think that will change back to old ways next season. I think one of the main reasons for this is to get Arnold into crossing positions as often as possible, and to be honest it seems like a flawless idea, because we know that he is one of the best crossers in the world, if not the best. Now, in Darwin Núñez he has a proper target to aim for. Núñez isn't the best in the air, but his pure size alone will make him a big threat, and it could become a pretty deadly duo with crosses coming into the box. I also think to an extent we'll see the same from Robertson on the left. I don't think he will have quite as much attacking freedom as Arnold, but as always I still think he'll be carrying a huge threat in the final third of the pitch with his delivery. If this is the case and Liverpool do set up in this way, then I think we will see a slightly off-balance average shape in possession, and it actually almost resembles a little bit of a 2-2-3-3 kind of shape. Now, if this is the case, then I think Liverpool will carry a lot of attacking threat, purely thanks to the quality of players like Robertson, Arnold, Salah and Diaz. However, at the same time, I do still see some flaws in the side. For me, the main problem is in the midfield. This trio does without doubt have a lot of quality. However, for me, there are question marks over how much they can really bring in the final third. There seems to be a lack of creativity. Now, to be fair, this is something that I've been saying for the past few years, and Klopp has always come up with a solution using his attacking fullbacks, so it is very possible that that will be the case once again, and I will be wrong yet again. If that is the strategy and the creativity is coming from out wide, then I do think there will be a lot of pressure on Darwin Núñez. This Liverpool team will create chances, it's just whether or not Núñez is able to finish them. Ultimately, that is something that we won't have the answers to until the season gets going. However, if I'm being honest, I am a little bit concerned about Núñez. I think he'll score goals, but I'm not too sure about his all-round game. If Núñez does struggle to adapt and make an impact, then a lot of the pressure will once again be on Mo Salah. And I think he is under pressure anyway, because his form so far in 2022 simply hasn't been of the level we expect. Now, to be fair, if things aren't going well in the attack, then Klopp has finally got himself a squad with attacking depth. So there is always the option to revert back to old ways, with either Firmino or Jota coming back into the team. Ultimately, that is how I think Liverpool will set up this season. So now I want to finish by going over who I feel are the main players. And that starts in goal, with Alisson, who will need to be in tip-top form once again this year. The same can be said for Thiago as well. Whenever he plays, Liverpool instantly look 10 times better on the ball, but he does have injury problems. Liverpool could really do with him staying fit for the entire season this year. The same obviously applies for Alexander-Arnold as well. We know that he has played a key role for 3 or 4 seasons now, and with his ability on the ball, I don't really see any reason why that will change anytime soon. The same applies to Mo Salah as well. His form did dip during the second half of last season. However, if Liverpool are to mount a serious title challenge again, their key man has to be on it. He has to deliver again. And then arguably the same can be said for Darwin Núñez as well. I do think it's important that he is given time to settle, but at the same time when he spends so much money, you do almost expect him to hit the ground running. Now, ultimately, whilst all of those players are important, the most important man is Jurgen Klopp. And with players like Núñez and Salah, I think it will be his man management skills that are tested just as much as his tactical ability. However, if things go well, Liverpool will be right near the top yet again. So now I want to hear your thoughts. Where will Liverpool finish in the league this season? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.